Hey guys, Mr. B here, and in this video we're going to be going through the first part of Chapter 8, Section 2. This video is going to be broken up into two parts because this section is a bit long and there is a lot of information, so I didn't want to do it all in one go. So this section we're going to learn about the nature of covalent bonding and primarily learning how to draw structural formulas, which are basically molecules. Okay, so first thing to talk about here is the octet rule. This was brought up in Chapter 7 when we were learning about ions, and that is that all atoms typically want to have 8 valence electrons in their outer valence shell. So they will do this usually, at least in Chapter 7, by losing or gaining electrons and becoming ions, and in doing so, they will then achieve an electron configuration that is similar to a noble gas. Now that was in Chapter 7, where we're gaining or losing electrons and having electric charges and ions. However, in this chapter, in covalent bonding, rather than gaining or losing electrons, electrons are going to be shared between atoms. So the difference between that is in ionic bonding, you have one atom that is giving electrons away and another one that is taking those electrons or receiving them. In covalent bonding, you have two atoms and the electrons are in between and they technically belong to both atoms at the same time. Okay, that's what we mean by sharing. So either way, the octet rule is again going to be a very important thing that's going to come up, and it's a pretty big concept in chemistry in general. Okay, so 8 is always the magic number. Okay, 8 is great. We want to have 8 valence electrons. So we can have 8 valence electrons by having single covalent bonds, which are where we have electrons that are shared between atoms, and this bond is what keeps them together in a molecule. So two atoms that are held together by sharing a pair of electrons is what we call a single covalent bond. Okay, now a pair of electrons specifically is 2 electrons. Okay, a pair is 2. So if we have 2 electrons in between atoms, that would be one pair, and this is what we call a single covalent bond. So in this image here, we have 2 hydrogen atoms. Each one has 1 valence electron, okay? And we know this because if we go to a periodic table, so let's go to ptable.com here real quick, we can see that hydrogen is in the first column on the periodic table, so it has 1 valence electron, and that 1 valence electron is shown here in a Lewis dot diagram with 1 dot. Okay, now hydrogen is one of the only elements on the periodic table that is actually only capable of holding 2 electrons at most. Okay, it actually doesn't need 8. Not because it doesn't want 8, it's just that it physically is not big enough to actually be able to hold 8 because it doesn't have enough orbitals to hold 8 valence electrons. So hydrogen's only happy with 2 electrons, okay? But regardless, each of these hydrogens wants to have 2. They each have 1. And if they each share their 1 electron with the other one, and they put them both in the middle, we now have a shared pair of electrons or a single covalent bond. And this then would be considered a molecule at that point because these 2 hydrogen atoms are bonded together. Okay. So an electron dot structure, such as the one shown on the previous slide there, H, right, 2 H's, represents a shared pair of electrons, which is again our covalent bond with 2 dots. But another way that we can represent this is with a structural formula where we represent the covalent bonds with dashes, okay, showing the bonding atoms that way. Now, there's a video that you should have watched by this point going to this website called moleview.org. And this is just a website that lets us draw molecules. So I'm going to use this to do some drawing here, and we are going to also turn off the 3D part because I don't care about that. So this would be our molecule here with our 2 H's as a structural formula. So we'll see that the 2 dots that were in the middle before, okay, so these 2 dots that were in the middle are now shown with a line instead. Okay, it's just a little bit of a cleaner drawing because otherwise when you start getting really big molecules, there just are dots everywhere. And it's just a lot neater and cleaner and faster to draw them out with lines. Okay, so this is called a structural formula. This is what we're going to learn how to draw. All right, so another example here is fluorine. Fluorine is in column 7 on the periodic table. So it's over here. Okay, it has 7 valence electrons, which means that it only needs to gain 1 more to get up to 8. And if you take 2 fluorine atoms, each one has 1 valence electron that is unpaired. So they can each share their 1 electron with each other to put a pair of them in the middle, make a covalent bond, and you now have a fluorine molecule. And again, that would look like this. So we have 2 fluorines bonded together, and I know that these are not showing the dots here, but this is our covalent bond. Okay. All right, so now we also will notice, though, that we have electrons that are on the molecule that are not being shared between the atoms. They're unshared, okay, or what we call lone pairs. So these are non-bonding pairs of electrons. All these dots that are shown here on the fluorines that are not in between the 2 atoms are unshared pairs or lone pairs, non-bonding pairs of electrons. They're paired up with each other, but they're not shared in between the 2 atoms. They will play a very big role later on in this chapter when we learn about molecular geometry, which is the shape that a molecule will take. So for now, it's important to know that there are lone pairs or unshared pairs of electrons on molecules that are not being bonded and that they do have an impact, okay, on the shape the molecule takes. But we'll learn about them in the next section. So here's another example. Okay, so we have hydrogen, and we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Okay, this is going to be water. Now, you'll notice that the oxygen has 6 valence electrons, 2 of which are not paired. Okay, so it has 2 open single electrons that need pairs. And the 2 hydrogen atoms each have 1 open electron. So what can happen is this oxygen needs to gain 2 more electrons to get up to 8 because it has 6. And 1 electron from this hydrogen can come and share here. And the other 1 electron from the other hydrogen can come and share here. And now we have 2 single bonds, 2 shared pairs of electrons between the oxygen and the 2 hydrogens. We have 2 single bonds, and we can make a water molecule. Okay, again shown here. And we'll see we have 2 lone pairs on the oxygen by doing this. Last example here is nitrogen. So nitrogen is in column 5 on the periodic table. Okay, column 5 right here. It has 5 valence electrons, which are shown in this diagram. It needs to gain 3 more to get up to 8. If we take 3 hydrogen atoms, again, each with 1 valence electron, we can share that 1 valence electron with each of these non-bonded single atoms on the nitrogen and make 3 single covalent bonds to make a new molecule, and this is called ammonia. Now, it's important that when we are drawing molecules that we count to make sure that there are 8 valence electrons on each atom in the molecule. Okay, so if we look at this nitrogen, every line that you see counts as 2 electrons, okay, because there's technically 2 electrons in that bonding line. So if we count the total number of electrons on this nitrogen, we have 2, 4, 6, and the lone pair there is another 2. That's 8. So the octet rule is being satisfied, okay? And we always want to satisfy the octet rule if we can. Now, there will be some exceptions to the octet rule in the future when we draw molecules, basically some molecules that may not follow the octet rule, but we always want to try to follow the octet rule if we can. Same thing with water here. If we count the total number of electrons on the oxygen, we'll see that each bonding pair is 2, 4, and then we have 2 lone pairs. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8. Oxygen has 8. And you might be asking yourself, well, what about hydrogen, right? Hydrogen only has 2. Remember that hydrogen only needs 2, okay? If this were any other element other than hydrogen, there would need to be 8 electrons on that element, but hydrogen only needs 2. So in this one, you only have 2 on each hydrogen, and in the ammonia one, you still only have 2 on each hydrogen because they're happy with only having 2. All right, last one here, we have an example of methane, which is CH4. Carbon is in column 4 on the periodic table. We'll notice in this chapter that we're going to start dealing with elements from column 4. We didn't deal with them in chapter 7 because they don't really make ions, but in this chapter, in molecular and covalent compounds, this is where they play a role. So carbon has 4 valence electrons. Each electron, you'll notice, is unpaired. Okay, it's a single. So we can take 4 individual hydrogen atoms and basically take their 1 valence electron and share it with each of these individual electrons on the carbon, and we'll get 4 single covalent bonds. If we count the total number of electrons on the carbon after we've bonded the hydrogens, we should see that we have 8, right? So we have 2, 4, 6, and 8 electrons on the carbon, which is great. And of course, all the hydrogens have 2, which is all they need. So perfect. All right. So let's take a look at an example here of just drawing out a molecule. So it says hydrochloric acid, HCl, is prepared by dissolving gaseous hydrogen chloride. Excuse me. Sorry, it's a little bit late here. By dissolving gaseous hydrogen chloride in water. Hydrogen chloride is a diatomic molecule. Diatomic means that there are 2 atoms. Okay, there's 1 hydrogen atom, 1 chlorine atom. And it has a single covalent bond. It says draw the electron dot structure for HCl. Okay, so we're going to do some drawing. Let's go insert. And I don't know if we go to line, draw. I guess we can just insert. We'll insert a text box and we'll just do it this way. So, all right. So let's make our text bigger, so we can actually see this a bit better. Okay, so we have H and Cl. Okay. Now H has 1 electron for a valence electron because it's in column 1 on the periodic table. So we're gonna just put 1 dot here. So let's go. Line, I guess. Is that gonna work? That's not gonna work. Can we do a drawing? Shape. Here we go. Let's do shapes. Circle. Okay. There's our 1 dot. Okay, so there's hydrogen with its 1 dot. Chlorine, on the other hand, is gonna have 7 because it's in column 7 on the periodic table. So we need to draw 7 dots. So let's see if we can just copy this and paste it. So we have, oh, that's not what we meant to do. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I can grab it. There we go. 6 and 7. All right, so these are the 7 electrons on the chlorine. We'll notice that there's 1 electron on the chlorine that is not bonded. There's 1 electron on the hydrogen that's not bonded. Chlorine has 7 electrons. It needs 1 more. So what we can do is we can share these 2 electrons between the 2 atoms here. So if we go like this and share those together, okay, we make this little bond here, we will then make a molecule. So if we do that, all right, I can't really type anymore, so we're going to just insert a new text box. I don't know why it's not letting me type, but that's okay. We are going to have H with then a line, and we're going to draw this as a structural formula here. So we're going to have H with a line, and then we are going to have Cl. Okay, so it'll be HCl like this, and then of course there will be all of these lone pairs on the chlorine, which I guess we'll put in there, but you know what? We're not going to, because just for the sake of time, okay? I'd be drawing this on paper usually. So this is going to be our molecule. All these lone pairs on the chlorine are still going to be there. I'm just not drawing them to save some time here, so I apologize, but they should be there, okay? And that's our electron dot structure for HCl, or our Lewis structure. Okay, so other than single bonds, we also can form double and triple bonds. So basically a double or a triple covalent bond is where you're sharing either 2 pairs of electrons, okay, which if we think about this, this is going to be a total of 4 electrons, okay, because 2 pairs, remember 1 pair is 2 electrons. So 2 pairs, 2 and 2, that's 4. Or 3 pairs of electrons, which is going to be a total of 6 electrons that are being shared, okay. So we'll take a look at some examples of things that make double and triple covalent bonds. So again, double covalent bond is 2 shared pairs of electrons. Triple covalent bond is 3 shared pairs. So here's an example. Oxygen. We have 2 oxygen atoms you'll notice that each one has 6 valence electrons, or basically each one has 2 single electrons on them that are not paired up. So if we pair these 2 electrons, we will then have 2 pairs of electrons that are bonded in the middle between them, giving us a double covalent bond. And if we count the total number of electrons on the oxygen atoms, we'll see that they each have 8. Okay, remember, each line counts as 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 4 electrons in the middle, and then 5, 6, 7, 8, counting the lone pairs. And that's just the oxygen on the left. The oxygen on the right, which looks exactly the same, will also have 8. The octet rules being satisfied, we now have a double covalent bond. Okay, super simple. All right, so this here has a chart of just some different molecules and their structural formulas, so just some good examples to look at. We're going to skip past this though. All right, so carbon dioxide is a gas that is soluble in water, used to carbonate many beverages. Carbon dioxide is a molecule that has 2 carbon-oxygen double bonds. So we're going to take a look at this structure here real quick. So here's our carbon atom in the middle. We've got 2 oxygen atoms on the outside. Okay, now when we're drawing molecules, a lot of times I'd like to think of it as like just a big game of connect the dots. Okay, anytime you have single open electrons that are not paired up, right? So like we have all these singles here. Just connect up singles until you don't have any left to connect. Okay, so like we could take a look at this. We could take a line and we could go, all right, let's connect up these 2 electrons right there. And then let's connect up these 2 electrons there. And then we can do the same thing with the other ones. So let's connect up these ones right there. And also do the same thing with this one down here. And then once we've done that, we'll notice like, oh, hey, look at that. We don't have any single electrons anymore. We paired them all up. Great. So now we have these 4 electrons being shared between the carbon and the oxygen on the left, which is shown in this image here on the right. And we have these 4 electrons being shared between the carbon and the oxygen on the right, which is shown here. And then, of course, in a structural formula, we can turn those dots into single lines. And now this is a double covalent bond on both sides. Okay, so we have 2 double covalent bonds. This is a double covalent bond on the left and a double covalent bond on the right. If we count the total number of electrons on the carbon, remember each line counts as 2 electrons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the carbon is satisfied with the octet rule, and the oxygens each also have 8, because again, the lines are 2 each. So on this oxygen on the left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bonding electrons, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 from the lone pairs. Okay. So think of it like a big game of connect the dots. Now there is a better way of writing out drawing out a structure like this, okay, rather than trying to play a game of connect the dots. And there's a video after this lesson, I believe, that you'll watch that will go over a really good process of how to draw out structural formulas. So I'd recommend really watching that and taking some notes and paying some attention, and then there'll be some practice after that as well. So okay, so that is it for this section of notes. There are some practice problems here that we're going to go through. I would recommend watching that like answer key video so you can see how these things are drawn, and then maybe try doing the quizzes practice problems, because it just takes some time to learn how to draw these. Okay, so go watch that next. But if you have any questions, I'll probably also cover this in class. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I'm Mr. B. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.